Auchazivi kuti vanotirumbirira ndiani, kutozwa chibhamu chatorira wototiza woitotsoka mbiri pano neapo sure muzi wotobaka.
They killed my father, then I decided to escape my country.
Imagine they kill your brother, they rape your wife in front of you.
World is home to over 26.7 million refugees and 82.4 million displaced people. Zimbabwe is home to over 22,000 people of concern. 15,000 of these are housed at Tongogara refugee camp in Chipinge, over 400 kilometers away from the capital Harare. Among these displaced people of concern is Muswila, a refugee from the Democratic Republic of Congo. Her story is chilling.
They killed my father, then I decided to escape my country, DRC. My mom took my young siblings, then they ran away. I tried also to run, but they touched me.
After being separated with her parents at the age of 14 years due to the raging war in South Kivu, Democratic Republic of Congo, Muswila was robbed of her childhood as rebels took turns to rape her.
They took me to the forest. When we reached in the forest, they started raping. They raped me to the extent that I feel the pain under my stomach. So there was a certain father who was a pastor. That father told me that these people wanted to kill this innocent child. Let me help you to escape. We ran together till we reached to Mwenejitu. When we reached Mwenejitu, then we took a truck. The person that claimed to assist me raped me. Then he could beat me up. It was a suffering journey. And that track, I find myself in Zimbabwe.
The trauma of that day did not end there. She later discovered that she was pregnant. Perhaps scars are left to remind her of the unfortunate incident.
When I reached in this camp, I went to trans. I was pregnant and I didn't know anyone. I'm suffering with the child. The child has no clothes.
Muswila's sad chapter is shared by many as rape and sexual violence are major weapons of war that forces many to flee their home countries in search of peace.
Other one forced himself on my body because they wanted to rape me. The people that were beating my husband and those who were on top of my body, I saw them using their private part to urinate in my mouth. So when my husband was fighting hard to help me, that's when they shot him and he died. Then they stabbed me with a knife on my stomach.
Sexual violence does not end when women or girls leave the war zone. Even in flight, they face cases of abuse of any form. Separated from their husbands and brothers, women's vulnerability to armed attack and sexual violence is increased. They are subjected to unwanted and aggressive solicitations for sex.
We just see the rebel come several times, even in my place where I was. They kill my young brother, my sister, and then they rape even my wife. That's why I could not even support that persecution.
When they could not find me, now they start now harassing, raping my wife, raping my children, and even they kill. And it was excused by the Catholic Church. Where they went, and they were taken by a truck from Goma up to Bukavu. From Bukavu, they get a small truck again up to Uvira. Uvira, they get the ship, what we call boat, up to Mpulungu. With a small stopover to Kalemi, where my wife, she was, terribly sick because for the injured of rape.
Even under difficult and terrible conditions, the caregiving nature in mothers never leaves as some adopt children along the way.
Before entering into that boat, I saw two children. It was her and another person. They were in the forest, these young children in the forest, and many children were there. Then I kept asking them, where are you going? Go back. They saw these children, they were crying. So they took the hand of my muzukuru, then we entered inside the boat. Then I asked them, where is your parents?
Lack of proper traveling documents makes their plight even more difficult.
If I remember that instant, I can't even eat. So we spent 2 days in the forest. We did not know where to go. So I told my son that we have to focus on where the sun is coming from. So then we followed the sun till we find ourselves on the lake. We spent 2 days in the boat, and there was strong wind.
The life of a girl child who emerges from the war or who was born in the refugee camp is indeed a minefield.
The problem that I faced in the camp is that I was once raped. So the person who raped me is someone who I was used to.
Early marriages are also a norm in the camp. Girls as young as 12 years are married off.
You have your own needs as a girl. You want lotions, you want clothes to look just like other girls in the community. So at the end, young children, they end up getting into marriages, and others, there will be prostitution in the camp.
For some of the children, it actually emanates from the parents. The parents actually see an opportunity of getting something from the other parent, and they actually make sure that they get their children, they marry their children off and expect something in return.
We also have factors such as cultural norms that are deeply rooted in societies. For example, the Mozambicans, where a child grows up knowing that they should get married as soon as she is identified.
Like many, Muswila found a home at a Tongogara refugee camp, a home to more than 15,000 people of concern. These refugees fled conflicts in the Horn of Africa and the Great Lakes region countries.
I left Sudan. I used to pass through DRC, Zambia, and I reached here in Zimbabwe.
We come from Nyabanga in Mozambique. We were running away from war. The soldiers were killing people. We ran to the forest and they started burning our homes. The non-governmental organizations and social welfare then came to our rescue, fearing that we might starve.
Right now I call it Tongogara Refugee Camp African Union in microcosm. It's because we are now hosting refugees from more than 15 countries from Africa. Majority of our refugees are from the Great Lakes. I'm referring to the Democratic Republic of Congo, Rwanda, Burundi. Then we also have some from West Africa, as well as from the Horn of Africa, and some from Southern Africa. You may recall that around 2015-2016, we had disturbances in Mozambique.
70% of the refugees in Zimbabwe are coming from DRC, and the second group is coming from Burundi. And then the third large population is from Rwanda. Rwanda, many of these refugees, the first group left during the genocide in '94, and these people, most of them have been declared now the cessation clause that is being implemented. But after many of them came, these people are still in the camp. And of course we have some other refugees from the Eastern East Africa region, like from Somalia, few refugees from Somalia, some refugees from Ethiopia, and even from West Africa, some part of some countries of West Africa. There is another big group, but these people, they are still on the they have asylum status. These are the people from Mozambique.
With assistance from non-governmental organizations, the government of Zimbabwe has shown total commitment towards the past, present, and future of foreigners who fled conflicts in their native countries. The government provides early childhood, primary, as well as secondary education for refugees.
We have 39 refugees who are studying at different universities in the country with a scholarship from DAFI. At the same time, we also have that are under self-sponsorship, and the Jesuit Refugee Services also came on board to assist 3 of our refugees with a scholarship. These 39 are in Zimbabwe at the different universities we have in the country. But of course, we also have 2 who are actually studying outside the country who benefited from international scholarships because they did exceptionally well at advanced level.
Agnes Uwogutete, a refugee from Burundi who came to the camp at a tender age, is now one of the success stories at Tongogara Primary and St. Michael's Secondary School. Although her parents ran away from tribal and political conflicts, that did not deter her from fulfilling her dreams.
When I completed my primary school, I had the hoping that I would go to the boarding school. At first, my father did not believe that a girl child would go to school, would think that buying books for the girl child, it's waste of money. So luckily, I'm grateful to my mother. He kept encouraging my father that you have to support your child. With the collaboration of UNHCR through education awareness, they urged my parents to support me. Then I did my secondary school at Gideon Klang High School. After completion of my Form 6, that's when I lost my dad in December 2016. It wasn't easy for me. Then I thought, how am I going to go to school? I thought it was end of my future. Then friends intervened. I went to the University, Africa University, just to apply. The university welcomed me. They encouraged me that this is not the end. You have to apply for scholarship, then you got assisted. Actually, it helped me. It brought hope to me. I went on to apply in Bachelor of Science in Natural Resources Management because I am one of the person who loves nature.
Like the rest of the world, Tongogara refugee camp was not spared from the COVID-19 pandemic.
I was not really able to walk, and breathing was a problem. So I was kind of asking myself, what is this? Because I've never suffered like this. When I'm coughing, breathing becomes difficult until the person should hold me at the chest.
People are living in cramped, conditions. So with the COVID, that called for social distancing, that came with a number of protocols. Persons of concern were actually affected. But fundamentally, COVID came as a pandemic. But at the same time, we also faced yet another pandemic that affected our population, which was misinformation. People came up with misconceptions, perceptions, and myths related to COVID. And as a result, you'd tell from the situation that was actually obtaining in the camp that the entire population was greatly affected.
The government and development partners came together to ensure the camp did not record many COVID-19 cases or deaths.
I would like to thank Zimbabwe, the government of Zimbabwe, for involving the refugees in the entire plan of prevention and response to COVID. By the way, Tongogara refugee camp was among the hotspot selected in the country. And based on that, UNHCR in collaboration with the district health authorities. We built we built a quarantine center. We built also an isolation center, and also to make sure that all precautions are taken in order to prevent the spread of COVID.
The more than 15,000 refugees and asylum seekers at Tonkogara face a number of challenges, among them food shortages.
Life is very hard in the camp.
Through assistance from government and developmental partners, refugees are given monthly food handouts.
They give refugees 2,100 kilocalories per day. That's what they calculate for a ration for a period of 1 month. And this distribution is done regularly. Every month a distribution is conducted. Of course, because of the need for refugees to mix their food, and also the food being one of the means for them to, many of them sometimes exchange, many refugees exchange this food, part of this food, to buy either protein, like some meat, like some fish.
To ensure self-reliance among the refugee community, a number of agricultural projects have been introduced in the camp.
Opportunity are given to the refugees, to be self-reliant by taking them in projects like fishery, piggery, poultry, and irrigation.
Msaada tunapata ni kama tunauzisha fish yetu.
After farming, we can harvest. When we harvest, we sell our fish and we get money. For example, myself, I'm a lady. I use that money to buy lotion and soap, as well as sandals for my children.
When we sell our fish, myself, I used to benefit a lot because that money, some I used to buy the sandals, some I used to give my wife, they can put in the business. And another money also I used to buy like some clothes for my children.
We had more than 12,000 fingerling, which has now been harvested. To date, we have harvested in excess of 800 kgs, which has been sold to the POCs and also to staff members as well as to the host community. This is one of the success stories that we have, and we are seeing a great change in the way of acceptance by the POCs.
Hii maraki ya kwanza inatusaidia mchama yote mzima kama mboka. Imuri yangu iri kubenefita swakanyanya kune project ye beans ya tiri kuitai. Muri yangu inotojya mashija aya semuri wose vegetables kana mwana utinyatsoona kuti mwana azi kuita muiri ari kuita sekunge ari kuleka manutrients ukamupa mashizha aya unotoona kuti mwana anenge akugeina saka mashizha aya ane proteins nemavitamins akawanda kasiyana siyana uye kana beans dzakubereka dzichine magreen beans aya tinomabika semuriwo futi saka zvese izvi zvinotipa chi mavitamins vana vonyatsokura zvakanaka.
We are supporting them with agricultural inputs for 3 cycles, and the first cycle we were doing maize, which is to improve their food security. Then this current one is beans, and our main aim is to make sure that we improve on their financial inclusion, because beans is a cash crop. And the third one that we are going to embark on in October is also a cash crop, mainly onion and garlic. So the aim is to make sure that these POCs who have been receiving some handouts from UNHCR and other partners, including government, can come to a point where they can do things on their own. At the moment we have 50 hectares, and this is giving about 0.1 of a hectare to each family.
Spending the day working in their self-reliance projects also helps the refugees to keep their minds off their traumatic past.
When you come here, you meet with different peoples, and we get to interact in each other, or interact and talk in the issues of stories of what happens in the camp, in the way like how we living here, tell different stories in the past, trying to forget what had been happening. Because when you meet with new people or different people, you get there to discuss and tell each other stories which you maintain your life, not to remind you what has been happening in the past.
Although they are away from their motherland, the government of Zimbabwe is committed to solving the problems they are facing.
Here we are very grateful. There is peace. There is no those, you don't hear sound of guns.
Where we're coming from is always pam, pam, pam. See somewhere, I can sleep like a small baby. No any problem at all, apart for security. We are getting my children going, free to school. Up to now, one of my last daughter, she got a certificate from secondary. She was sent by UNICEF to school through TDH.
Life is better inside the camp because you don't hear gunshots, people don't attack you in your house, you don't see people cutting off your hands because you are not with them, and you don't see anyone raping you in front of children.
But what are the permanent solutions to ensure a world without refugees?
Traditional durable solutions that have been available to persons of concern. These include voluntary repatriation, which is the most preferable durable solution. We are saying when the situation back home improves, refugees are expected to return to their countries, integrate and contribute to the communities. However, due to most countries of origin, there is still war, you find that voluntary repatriation is very difficult. We also have local integration, where refugees are expected to integrate legally, economically, and socially in the country of asylum, Zimbabwe. Whilst we really appreciate that refugees have integrated, especially socially, we still have challenges like legal integration. Refugees who are even married to Zimbabweans cannot be naturalized to become Zimbabwean citizens. We also have challenges with local integration where refugees who have stayed in Zimbabwe for many years cannot legally acquire citizenship by virtue of their stay. So this is an area where we are also, advocating with the government to look into as one of a solution to give to our persons of concern. The last traditional durable solution is resettlement, where refugees are relocated from Zimbabwe to main countries such as USA, Canada, Australia and other resettlement countries. However, because of the shrinking resettlement space that is being caused by COVID-19 and other economic challenges, resettlement countries have not been coming up forward, giving us resettlement places, especially for the past 3 years.
This year's World Refugees Day celebrations were held virtually under the theme, Together We Heal, Learn and Shine.
If I have a problem, I'll be counseled by someone. Then my wounds will be healed. And we shine, the happiness, the smile on my face, it brings shine on our face. Then we get to learn what I know and the other person doesn't know, we get to share.
When refugees are included in the national socio-economic activities, they can be able to contribute. They should not be looked at as special persons that who have this status, they are not able to work, they are just here to wait for assistance. Once we collaborate, once we work together, once they contribute, they give their contribution, all of us can shine together. When they learn something here, it will be, first of all, for the benefit of the country where they are. The good thing, when they decide, when the situation why they are here for ends in their country of origin, they go back there. They will not go back as beggars. They will come to contribute in that country also.
Besides being violent, conflicts across the globe have proved to be persistent. Many rage on with no end in sight, while new conflicts are erupting, thus prompting more people to flee and swell the numbers of refugees. This has seen more refugees spending decades, and in some cases a lifetime, waiting for elusive peace. For the female refugee, this is no good news. It means a lifetime of troubles. Only peace will bring back their dignity.